Voltron Network.
What's good, guys? Welcome back to Talking at the Movies. I'm Edger Wrights Antonio.
And I'm Mo. Is my lighting too dark? Because normally it's bright outside, so you normally have the sun coming in as well.
It don't make a difference, really, because most of the light is from the light on the side, isn't it? So you look fine.
Okay.
Very handsome, Mo. Very handsome.
That's what I was looking for. Not whether I was lit properly.
There you go. I know, you're fishing. What's been happening, dude?
Oh, man. It's just like, it's the slow descent into winter now, really, isn't it? It was difficult enough to get the enthusiasm to go out and do stuff.
I know.
After this, prolonged, COVID thing. And now winter is coming in, just want to stay inside where it's nice and warm and cozy. And
I'm going to have to probably move in the middle of all of this. Which I'm kind of starting to look forward to if it happens. It'd be nice.
You move in an afternoon. It's not like you've got loads of stuff.
It's always more than you expect, man. I realized that from when I moved here. It's always more than you think. Once you start pulling out all my little sneaky ways of compacting stuff into small spaces, it's always too much. So, guys, this week we will be talking. We've got Foundation this week and Invasion, and we check out the new 4400 from CW.
And the most important show of the week, Eddie.
What's that?
Remember? Star Trek Prodigy.
Oh yeah, well, the first one we did. Got to check out, yeah. And I have a movie review this week. Edger Wrights Last Night in Soho. So I'm gonna be letting Mo know about that one. Mo, why aren't you going to the cinema, man? This is bad.
I'm gonna be going. It's like I'm going every other week at the moment. There's just too many films.
But you're not though. You're already seen.
I am.
What was the last one you saw?
I just went to see Dune, and then
before
this week I'm gonna. Before that, what was the other Marvel movie that just came out before that?
Marvel.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a film that we just went to see 2 weeks before that.
No, the one before this one was
No, Shang-Chi.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about Shang-Chi.
There you go,
But we've missed the bunch.
This Friday, we've got the Eternals coming this Friday, and I'm gonna try because I'm taking the day off. I'm gonna really try to go and see The Last Duel as well, because I see that's getting really good review.
Well, what you been watching?
Right. So beyond the things that we're going to talk about, Curb Your Enthusiasm. Just Larry David does it in style yet again, right? Absolutely love the second episode. I've had a friend of mine harassing me to check out an old show called West Wing. I'm sure you very much heard of it.
Love West Wing.
And I think over the years I've flirted with the idea. I think I might have even watched a few episodes, but this time I was like, okay, you know what? People hold this show in such high regard.
It's a good show. Very good.
I need to watch it. So I watched the pilot episode, and again, I think it's I remember a lot of the stuff from it because I have seen it before. Got some very funny lines in it. But while I'm watching it, all I can hear in the back of my head is this little quote that I heard somewhere was, the West Wing is the politics people wish we had, but in reality, Veep is the politics we have. Well, the quote is something like that.
The problem with West Wing, though, it suffers from that issue that so many shows have suffered from, where you got one showrunner that starts it, or a writer that starts it, and they're with it for a certain amount of time, and that's usually the golden spot for the show, and then they leave, and then the whole thing kind of starts to go downhill, and that's what happened to it.
It didn't run for that long, though, didn't it? It was only 5 or 6 seasons.
Yeah, about that. I don't even know. I've got the box set down here. Can't even remember.
So
it went for a while.
Are you saying Sorkin leaves at some point?
Oh yeah. He doesn't write the last couple.
So are you saying when he goes, it's time to bail?
Yeah. I decided to check out a show which I keep seeing thumbnails for, and I decided, let me see what this is about. It's an Apple Plus show called Calls. And it's a strange concept, Mo, because the show is a series of phone calls. Each episode is its own contained thing, but they deal with these inter relationships between people, but they're all kind of joined together by this weird sort of apocalyptic thing that's happening that we never see. But the thing is, when I say it's just a series of phone calls, literally that's all it is. There's no visuals. Well, there are visuals, but you don't actually see any actors. You just see sound waves and interesting little effects that they use in order to kind of gauge what's the emotions of the people that are talking. And you see it's all dialogue. You see all on screen with the people's names.
So why make that a TV show and not a podcast?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because this could very easy, even though it does help having like the actual names of the people talking when they come up with the dialogue.
Yeah.
Still, they're only like 12, 30 minutes each. So this could easily just be like a podcast series.
Yeah.
But it's actually pretty cool. I was actually finding myself very much engaged with what was happening. That the first two so far had been the best. I've seen like 6 of them.
What are like the plot lines and storylines?
Oh, well, one of them.
What do they cover?
One of them, it's a guy who's just found out from his girlfriend that she's pregnant. So he freaks out. So it's her calling him, telling him to come back. He's like, we agreed never to have kids. And he's driving to his friend's house in like another town or state. But the thing is, every time he hangs up, something happens. A weird glitch happens where someone calls him again. It's like, I told you not to call me. Didn't I just say that? He goes, that was 2 weeks ago. Why haven't you come back? And literally time keeps jumping for everybody else except him. He's just driving to his friend's house. But time, it's like Twilight Zone. That sort of the way that these stories are told. And then he ends up with, I don't want to ruin the end of it, but yeah, time keeps jumping. It's like it goes from weeks to months to years. And it's like, what are you? Because he's talking to his mom, his best friend. It's like, your child, he's been born. He's 6 months old now and he's 12 years old and his mom's dying and all this other crazy shit's happening. And the way they do it, they're really well acted. It's actually got you look at the cast, it's actually a bunch of very well-known actors, but it is very engaging. But could have been a very good podcast. I don't know why they did it like this.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd imagine most people are going to disengage as soon as they see there are no actors and it's just all waveforms and visuals.
But it is kind of nice though, the way they do it. It is surprisingly pleasant to look at, all these different ways that they convey the emotions of the people talking in these interesting little visuals on the screen. But yeah, cool. Give it a look if you're curious. You just want something to knock out in about 12 minutes. Yeah, it's a cool show. And I checked out. Do you remember the trailer we checked out for Night Thief, the vampire one with the chauffeur, and he picks up these 2 girls.
Oh yes.
And it just turns into this like night from hell, where these girls turn out to be vampires, and Megan Fox turns up, and yeah, check that out.
Was it a night of hell for you as well?
It wasn't great. It really wasn't great. Like, it has energy. You know, it tries to be fun, but it was something I was really starting to struggle with, man. Like, after a while, I just wanted to play on my phone because it just wasn't good at all.
Are you saying even the talents of Megan Fox couldn't save this?
He's in one scene. It's a bullshit bait and switch in the trailer. She's literally there and then dies. Like, it's just like, what's the point?
Whoa, spoilers!
Who cares? No one's going to watch this. And if you do, serves you right. It's just not worth it. Yeah, Night Thief, it has a few little moments, but it's not really worth going out your way to watch. And I don't know why, but I wanted to watch something for Halloween. So I watched, I just randomly went on Amazon and just found horror that I've never heard of, just to randomly see if I could find a diamond in the rough. And I found something.
A rough in the diamond.
Yeah, pretty much. Something called Terror Train with Jamie Lee Curtis. This must have been coming off of the whole Halloween thing. So she's kind of stuck in horror purgatory still at this point. It's from the 70s. And what interested me is that it's got, what's the name? David Copperfield in his acting debut.
Oh.
Yeah, in a movie. It's fucking nuts. And basically a bunch of students go on this train ride to celebrate, leaving college and, this one hurrah. And it turns out there's like a murderer on the train who wants a revenge possibly for what a practical joke that was played on a certain individual about a year before. And for horror movies in the 70s, it's kind of intriguing. Just makes me want to have a party on the train. Though. That's what I really got from this.
You just watched it for Jamie Lee Curtis, really, didn't you?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Oh, does David Copperfield come across like he does in his magic shows, like all enigmatic and the weird dressing and
very weird? Remember, this is 70s David Copperfield, so he's very young. He is a magician in this. He's basically like the talent hired to entertain the hippies on this train. But he comes off creepy as fuck, man. Like, he just has this weird. He's not an actor really, but he's passable. But yeah, he has this like weird sort of creepy Like, what's supposed to be sexy of him staring at a woman across the bar just comes off like a serial killer, scoping out his next prey. Like, that's his vibe. Which I think some women kind of like, bizarrely. That weird brooding angel, character angel, not actual angel thing. But yeah, it's a nice little slocky entertainment for B movies if you want to watch that. So yeah, but calls I'm gonna give it 3 stars. It's solid entertainment. It's pretty cool for what you get. Night Train, I give 2.5. No, I'll give that 2.5. Come on, let's get on to the resurrection of CW's 4400.
Right.
Tell us about the original. What was the premise?
I was just about to ask you, have you seen the original?
I saw a bunch of it, all of it.
So I was thinking I might go watch the first episode again because I can't remember it very well because the new show seems to deviate from it a lot. So the premise of the original is pretty much the same, right? So over I say history, I think it's like modern times. 4,400 people like disappear, like random disappearances over the years, and then one day, all of a sudden, they just like reappear. They have no idea where they've been. They've no idea what's happened. They've no idea about the time in between. And in the original, it's actually seen through the eyes of like 2 special agents. I can't remember what agency they work for, but essentially they go around investigating these guys each week until they kind of find the groove of what the show is, and it kind of like becomes its own thing rather than like a Monster of the Week type show. Okay. But I think the eventual premise of that show is it's like that whole like we are special because we've got special powers. You are just normal. At some point, you're going to start resenting us, and there's going to be a war.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really remember much of it. It never really gripped me. But I saw it.
I do remember it being a very, very good show. It was like once it found its feet, it got really good.
So that is pretty much is what the new resurrection of it is. But they've kind of taken a more ethnic spin to it. I guess they figured, CW needs some shows for Black audience. Let's just resurrect something.
See, I don't kind of get that because I saw some comments on IMDb, right? And some guy goes, I guess this is a show for African Americans, and I'm kind of thinking, no, hold on a minute. Does that mean a show with like white leads is a show for only white people?
It kind of is
a white person watch a black led show.
They can, because most shows for us growing up, were just, regular white. So we watched them. We were fine watching them because that's all there was to watch. But you kind of understand that some people want to see themselves reflected on the screen. And the majority of the cast in this one is, black, which it still seems
black folks.
It still seems the same premise of the original, but I guess they just wanted CW wanted to tick a box.
I think it's not. I don't think it is. It is the same premise, but it's actually they seem to be doing it more from the eyes of like the folks that have disappeared.
Yeah.
Because I actually don't ever remember them going into this much detail. I actually love the idea of the fact that this woman cannot comprehend like what's happened to her.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, you can't, right? Imagine you're on your way to work one day, and then suddenly you just wake up somewhere and they tell you like 20 odd years has gone.
You say that, but everyone seems to take it pretty well, especially like some of the people that have been gone for like 100 years almost. They seem to just accept like, people got phones.
No, I actually think I think it hasn't hit them because they're not allowed to watch telly, so they're not allowed, so all they see is like what's in the front of them. So no one's seen the phones, no one's seen the technology, right? I think it's only then when it dawns on you. It's like when she actually escapes, and when she comes back, she says that whole thing. Everyone seems obsessed with staring at their phones, but like the fact that when she finally is confronted with her husband and her daughter, and it like dawns on her.
It seemed pretty well explained, and she seemed to accept it to a degree. Except she couldn't comprehend. She couldn't even think of the fact that her kid isn't going to be a 4-month-old baby.
There you go. Because it's so difficult to comprehend. If someone had told you 20 years has passed since like your last memory, you'll be like, huh? It'll be a really difficult thing to process. And I actually really, really enjoyed like watching that play out, and her realizing it, and then seeing the fact that the husband has moved on
Remarried,
and is
yeah.
now like with somebody else. Like just seeing your whole life as just destroyed.
Yeah, like 20 years. Like how how long was she gone? Yeah, she was gone. Now, how long? How old was the kid? Like 15
I'm saying 20. Yeah, I
or
was thinking,
17 or something like that.
well, they were using blackberries. Like if you watch like that little bit at the beginning, they
Yeah,
very purposely kind of showed you certain
yeah.
things, and
But
they really hovered in on the BlackBerry to say this is pre-smartphone era.
yeah, but like a kid's a teenager now.
Yeah.
They had Rihanna playing, which is kind of a bait and switch because you know Rihanna's still around, so it kind of you can't always gauge. But yeah, it was interesting. You're gonna this kind of still sparked your 4400
Oh
interest.
yeah. I actually was surprised at how much I enjoyed this. I was really on the bandwagon that I'm not going to enjoy this because it's CW. I really love the original, and the original never had a conclusion. It's just one of those shows got to the end of the full season, and they killed it.
That's all it led. Oh, I thought it lasted longer than that.
Um,
Yeah, I thought it was fine. Like I didn't dislike it.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, it seems interesting. It's a different take on it, different perspectives. Like you're saying, it focuses on the actual people, which is what it should have done. I'm surprised it originally didn't really.
I think that's going to be, it's because in the original you had the two special agents, so they were the glue that held everyone together and introduced you to the others. Like eventually they meet like this millionaire type guy. I think his name was like Jordan Chandler, and eventually he's like the big wig for the 4400, and eventually like he grows the beard and he looks like the Messiah, and he's like he's pulling the strings, and eventually like you end up meeting some like very powerful people who have had like some like very very enhanced genetic gifts given to them.
So I'm curious how that's gonna manifest in this series. You've got the one chick who heals.
Yep.
But the girl,
you got the other one with the telekinetic powers.
Yeah, the girl, the hippie girl.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know what the preacher's gonna be. Is he just gonna be like persuading people to do what he wants? Seems to be going that way. What the hell is that sort of the it girl, the prima donna one that just
she looks very she looks very Kim Kardashian era, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So you know, it has potential, but you know, again, it's CW, so you don't really know.
Yeah, could go either way.
Yeah. What else? Invasion. We're getting small teasers. I'm still engaged with just the characters, but it is getting to a point where okay, this kind of needs to kind of get to the meat of what the show's supposed to be about. But we saw a glimpse of an alien.
Out of the 4 storylines, I could really do without the soldiers one because I just find that boring.
That is the weakest one for me. Yeah, it is. But oddly enough, that's the one that actually gave us a glimpse of an alien for the first time.
But it's also like it's like you go on for 15 minutes and you get like a little glimpse of something.
Yeah.
The kids one, that almost seems like it's a different story. It's like the Lord of the Flies or something.
It does. Like, what is? Obviously, it's about that main kid. Like, he's going to connect to it somehow. These select kids have these weird sort of connection to these aliens. But yeah, it is. It does kind of. I'm happy that they dealt with the bully now. That was getting a bit annoying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, finally, that's dealt with.
Did you see the size of the sound system that is it Hanita's dad had? I was looking at those speakers and I was like, damn. I go, because you always associate and you always get told that Japanese homes are small, right? Because it's a small country, huge population. And I was just looking at his speakers and they were massive. And then he turns around and goes, does JASA have bigger speakers?
But that's usually more of like cities though, isn't it? Like he's out in like the suburbs, towns. But yeah. I do like that he figured something out that no one else bothered to. It's like everyone stopped the video right at the point where the impact. No one else bothered to just listen, let it play for the end credits, the Marvel end credits of the video.
This again is just like sloppy writing, right? Because this is like a trope we've seen again and again and again, where people in authority just refuse to listen for the sake of refusing to listen. Like there's no logic behind there. Like if one of your guys came to you and said,
"But it's a woman. A woman can't figure out something that the men couldn't figure out." Come on. It's a bit played up. But
and the couple, obviously, like you can't blame her for like being as mad as she is, right? But like it's how did that kid manage to disappear so far within like the few seconds they had the eyes taken off of him? And I don't know, man. I got the real spooky feeling out of that guy whose house they went into because he just seemed a bit too welcoming.
First, I did. I'm choosing to believe the best at the moment, but yeah, it could turn. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But I'm still intrigued. It still intrigues me to check out next episode when it drops. But just come on, get to it now, please. Invasion has to truly happen now. Enough teasing. What 4 episodes now we've done? Come on.
That's 4 episodes.
Yeah.
I actually don't think there are. I don't think we're going to see the invasion. I think they might. It might be a cliffhanger at the end of the season, and the first season is more about how we deal with this situation.
Well, they're obviously here. We saw them in Afghanistan. We saw that one little glimpse of Elena. So they're obviously on land. Actually, they were always on land. That's what they've changed. Because wasn't in the original Day After Tomorrow that they were buried underground and that they... No, I'm mixing out. That was the Tom Cruise one.
Well, that was like the Spielberg one.
Yeah, where they were actually underground and came up.
Yeah.
So they're probably obviously doing something different because we saw the satellite get hit. Yeah, get to it, man, please.
Yeah.
Foundation.
A lot more interesting than previous weeks.
Still, I enjoyed the previous weeks.
It's getting good. No. I'm not saying it was bad, but I'm saying this one's at least like there's some meat on the episode, right?
Yeah. Harry
Loved. Well, I was going to say, okay, we should about the Harry bit first then.
Well, I was going to say it's nice to confirm that. Yeah, Harry is a hologram or some sort of uploaded program of his consciousness into the computer.
Seems like it is his full consciousness, right? It almost seems like he's a full human being in a hologram form.
Yeah, pretty much. That story and the one with they're trying to get hold of that ship. Those are the most interesting ones for me at the moment.
Really? I thought the Brother Day one was the most interesting because he seemed so panicked at like the words of like this woman. Like he almost like he didn't know what to do. It was the first time anyone has ever spoken to him like that.
And now he's going to take the trial, this walk that kills so many people.
Yeah.
There's this younger one though. Brother Morning. Or Brother Dawn.
Brother Dawn.
How's that gonna go? He's gonna get found out at some point, or is he gonna be welcomed? Are people gonna find out that he's different and be like, finally, this is what needed to happen? A new, different deviant of.
I guess the storyline has to go somewhere, right? Because they can't just kill him, or maybe they can. Maybe they'll just do a Game of Thrones type thing.
Yeah,
get to like a character and.
It did answer a question I was always thinking about though, like what happens if something happens to one of them? Like one of the stages, and you see they got backups just growing in tubes that they can just.
Then I'm assuming that even the backup will have all of his memories, right? Because he says they get like updates of all of their memories and stuff. So surely they'll potentially have the defect as well.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, possibly. Yeah. But maybe. So still fun. But yeah, how's the trial gonna turn out?
I'm guessing he's going to have a shield on him, right? So he's going to get to cheat a little bit.
Ooh, that's a point. But would Android assistant kind of call it out? Because they seem to truly believe in the whole belief, the religion. So are they going to be like, you can't use that?
Well, didn't she change her mind towards the end? She suddenly became like, she's using religion to gain power or something.
I ain't get that. I just felt that she wasn't what she did, bowing to the thing, wasn't in a contradiction to her serving him.
Yeah. But towards the end of the episode, she realized that it was a power play, and she was saying like, "We need to double your guard. We need to be really careful." Yeah. Like, I really shouldn't have bowed to her, type thing. You forgot that, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. We'll find out. See how that goes in the weeks. But I think the one where they're trying to get that ship working is the one that kind of, I don't know, I just love that sort of discovery, this ship that just jumps automatically, that killed its crew. I wanted to just keep on jumping. Yeah, which I enjoyed. I like that concept. I want them just to get lost and for it to jump and then them to be fucked. There, and that chick looks badass with one black eye as well. I don't know why, it just looks cool.
It's well, I'm guessing the warden is just waiting for a chance to escape, right? Because she's got nothing left now. They just killed the guy that she loved, right? That just seemed like brutal. Oh well, I guess they didn't kill him. He had a malfunction.
He fucked up. He couldn't. His jetpack didn't work, and he just floated away.
And you know what? As they were doing that, I was thinking, surely this has got to be like like one of the worst things a human can have to do, right? Because if something does go wrong and you miss your target, you're just going to keep just going and going until you basically run out of oxygen.
Yeah. And it was pretty unceremonious, but you didn't really feel it because I don't think they did a great job with those two. I don't know whether it was the casting or just how they were written, but there wasn't really much real chemistry, or you didn't really give a damn. So when he floated away, it was like, all right, yeah, bye.
Yeah, I guess it hasn't been going for that long.
Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Invasion, still fun. Let's get into it.
No, Invasion Foundation, you mean?
Foundation,
yeah.
Invasion Foundation, that should be the show. The crossover.
Let's not forget the biggest show of the week, obviously, though. A new Star Trek show.
This is Mo's corner.
It's Star Trek Prodigy, a brand new show. Very much feels to me like a spiritual successor to Voyager, but you don't have to have seen Voyager in order to enjoy the show. So it's an animated show. It is supposed to skew more towards a kiddie audience, but I think there's actually enough in there to keep the adults watching. I thought the animation was absolutely superb.
It looked beautiful.
Looked very, very beautiful.
Very reminiscent of the later seasons of Clone Wars animated show, which really kind of perfected that sort of textured painting type animation. And it really does have a Star Wars vibe to it. Just the way the machines and some of the far
like
anyway.
General Grievous.
Yeah, very much. Well, that could change with the later episodes, but yeah, I was actually surprised. I did not really expect to give a damn about this, but I actually did enjoy that first episode.
Yeah. It's the only thing criticism I would say is it came from the voicing or the casting of what's his name, Matsuka. Is that how you say his surname? I'm completely blanking now. The funny guy, Matsuka. Yeah, the one who's always the dude with the beard, who's always the engineer, who's always playing like silly roles. Like he's in the league, and he's in like Raffi in the league.
Oh, Mantzoukas,
that's it. That's
Jason Mantzoukas. Yeah.
It's just when you put him in a show, you're not putting like him in for his acting ability. You're putting him in like because you want
him.
Like, him.
Yeah, he's always him. Yeah. It's true. He's always himself, and he's always pretty much the same character. Everything he's in.
And when he voiced, like, that's all you literally just see his face when like they might as well just made the character look like him.
Yeah, really should have.
So the premise of the story is here, like you had like these kids who were enslaved. They escape. They find like this USS Starfleet ship buried somewhere under a planet. They essentially get on that ship and they go off on adventures. Why the ship is there, no one knows. That apparently is supposed to be part of the mystery of season 1. And right at the end of the episode, so if you haven't seen this, spoilers. But it's been in the marketing anyway. You get a holographic Captain Janeway, who is going to be there to essentially be like the moral guardian and the teacher to these kids
of the Federation's values and train them how to use the ship.
Exactly.
Some fun could ensue. And I swear, when I originally looked up the cast for this, it also said Chakotay was in this as well.
He is indeed, yep. So if you look at the casting, he's in 9 episodes. So I'm assuming there might be another Federation ship that maybe is trying to track them down.
So we don't actually know the timeline of when this takes place yet.
Yeah. Oh no, we absolutely do. So this is 5 years after Voyager returns home.
Okay, so yeah, it could pop up. Who are the most hated Star Trek characters? And is Chakotay up there?
Most hated?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say he's hated, but he's certainly disliked, right? Because he was they just didn't know what to do with that character. They brought in this whole concept of like a North American native like character, and then when they ever did stories around it, they weren't great stories. And apparently the consultant that they hired turns out like apparently didn't really know much either. He was making it up himself.
Hustled them. Found a way to make money for doing that.
I always thought I always disliked Neelix, but apparently Neelix is quite a liked character.
I don't mind him in small doses. Yeah, the guy was just bored the hell out of me.
Yeah. And I guess it just depends on who you are. Like there are some characters I'm sure that I absolutely love that I just kind of like when it's a story based around them, you're just kind of like, oh, not them, please.
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to be checking more of these out. I enjoyed this.
What was that you said, Eddie, when you watched it? You liked it because it didn't look like Star Trek.
it just had a Star Wars vibe, and I've been missing besides Mandalorian. There ain't really a lot of great Star Wars around at the moment, so I'll tell you this: I'll re-edit it in my head and make it Star Wars TV show.
Do you think kids would like this?
Yeah,
it was bright, it was colourful, it was action-packed.
Yeah, why not? Fun characters,
fair pace. Yeah,
fun characters they can play around, pretend to be, and that fantasy of like discovering a ship that you can control, something which you'd never get the opportunity to have on your own. It's like kids finding a car with keys in it. It'll end in death, but they'll have a lot of fun until that happens. Oh, why not?
Right. Should we get to the trailers then?
No. We got to do one night. Last night in Soho.
Oh, right. Last night in Soho.
Tell you about that. So let me break this down. Edger Wrights. An aspiring fashion designer is mysteriously able to enter the 1960s, where she encounters a dazzling wannabe singer. However, the glamour is not all it appears to be, and the dreams of the past start to crack and splinter into something far darker. And I really enjoyed this. Edgar Wright, man, he just keeps knocking them out of the park. I just love his films. Admittedly, it doesn't have the how to describe it? Like the forward energy. Like Edgar Wright's movies are all really energetic, bouncy. It's because they have a lot of comedy. This isn't comedic. This is
you've lost me.
Thriller. It's a thriller with horror elements in it. So obviously it doesn't have that bounce forward, but it still has a lot of energy. Like visually, this may be one of his, if not besides Scott Pilgrim, one of his most visually stunning movies. And that's really what kind of keeps things going as the mystery also unfolds. And I really love it, man. Like I had a lot of fun with this. So Anya Taylor-Joy from Queen's Gambit.
Yep.
Great in everything. Seems to be like the woman of the moment right now. It's kind of taken over that Jennifer Lawrence sort of position of being that sort of new.
So she's the
girl.
rising star.
Yeah, because she's everything. She's just everyone loves her, and she's popping up in all the movies now. And got to give a lot of love to I don't know pronounce this. Thomasin McKenzie playing Eloise. That's the main protagonist of this. She's really good. She's the one that's having the visions of this woman and kind of reliving and living in the retelling of it's a girl who's obsessed with the 60s, listens to 60s music. She's a fashion designer or aspiring. And it's also nice to have a movie set in the 60s that has a 60s soundtrack, but they focus on like British 60s sound and style. So you're getting like, Cilla Black and all those sort of digging in the crate, but the good Cilla Black, not surprise, Cilla Black. And all the sort of the little buried gems of the 60s, it kind of gives that old sexy swinging 60s vibe. I really liked it, man.
If it's like a story and visions and all that kind of stuff, is there lots of like really long labored scenes, or is it like a fairly straightforward tale?
No, nothing, because it still has Edgar Wright's energy. So there's still the style and the way that they edit. They do clever things that even when she's having these visions, she's in the visions as an observer. So whether she'll be the reflection of Anna Taylor-Joy's reflection, if there's like a mirror close by, but she'll, instead of copying what she's doing, she's just staring at them through the mirror. But there's also clever little transitions, and it keeps very visually engaging. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Is this one that people should try go to the cinema for?
Yeah, because I don't think a lot of people are going to see it, because it's wedged in between Dune and Eternals. So it's a lot of people may just kind of lean one side or the other and not really kind of give this one a look, which is a shame, because I think this deserves it. And it doesn't necessarily succeed in being horror. It's more thriller, but I think it will be scary for women in particular. And that's because it kind of plays on the whole predatory nature of men, especially back in the 60s, that women had to deal with, especially still now. But that kind of is something that I think women will relate to a little, especially. But yeah, it does get crazy. There are little spooky moments, but it's an enjoyable film. Go see it. Matt Smith being a bit of a piece of shit, which you don't really usually get to see him do. Yeah, it really works. Thumbs up for me. You're gonna go see it. Now that Last Duel's available.
Well, I might have to go and hunt that one down. Surely there's got to be a cinema somewhere in London still playing that.
Give it a go. Maybe one little artsy one somewhere.
Yeah, maybe. But there is another Ridley Scott film coming. If you
No,
can't catch one, there's another one coming along.
we'll get to that in a sec. So with this, I'm gonna give it 4.
Ooh,
It surprised me. Yeah, actually
high
surprised me.
praise indeed.
It was better
So,
than I
like,
was hoping it was gonna be.
so this is film of the year top 5 contender.
Could
It's
be.
that time of year. You got to start compiling that
I
list.
gotta start thinking of this. Yeah, I gotta start going back and looking at what I've watched. Yeah. So let's do it now. Trailers.
So we were just talking Ridley Scott. First up on the list, House of Gucci.
The new
official
trailer. Trailer 2. And this one, way better.
I don't know if it's the way they've cut it or if it's the music, but I am saying, damn, you know what? Just hand Lady Gaga like the Oscar for Best Actress.
Dude, how good does she? I never saw the one she did before with
Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, I've still not seen that film, but people always praise it as being like, a great performance, all of that. But this one, she is like knocking it out of the park, like the energy, everyone. Yeah. And did you spot Jared Leto?
I did indeed, but I think that's because they say Jared Leto.
Oh yeah, it says introduce him. But when you're actually watching, you're thinking, what? Like, I love it. I love it when actors make an effort and they truly transform, and you can't even spot them. And that's what he did. And everyone in this looks amazing.
It does, Al Pacino, Adam Driver, they all look such the part. And there's that little scene where Adam Driver goes like, this is like a Gucci thing or whatever, or like, and then she holds up her hand in the ring. I'm a Gucci or something.
Yeah, I'm a Gucci. Yes, my name. I'm a Gucci too, honey.
Dude, darling, or whatever.
Like, yeah, it's a really good trailer. I've watched it a bunch of times because it just, and the music, the Sweet Dreams, Eurythmics, just kind of sets it all off.
I am tempted. I think this potentially does look like a cinema visit.
Oh, definitely for me. I was definitely impressed by this. But then I did say that about Last Duel. I never got a chance. It just disappeared too quick. So pissed. But yeah, I'm loving this one. Thumbs up.
Yeah. Right. So something just dropped like really dramatically. I think like Sunday. It's amazing now. Like trailers will just drop anytime you wake up on a Sunday morning. Anytime. Someone send you a link, right? And we've got like the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah. I kind of almost thought this was coming this year.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm still curious as to what his aim is. Is it just purely just to hold this seat of power on this planet after he's taken it over from the Fets? Or, what's the main driving story of this? People trying to take the power from him? Is it going to be like a intergalactic mafia story? Like,
I'm assuming he wants to rule that planet, but he wants to be just about it.
Yeah. I guess
and not get corrupted.
People want to take it from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it still looks cool.
Visually, it looks really cool, though, doesn't it, from that trailer?
And it looks like the actor took that little break in between Mandalorian and this to trim down the pounds, get in shape, so he can fit back into that Boba Fett costume a lot better.
No, the beer belly was like the selling point of that character. I was like, yay, like finally somebody like represents me.
Yeah, it looks cool. You don't get a lot, like I said, you don't get a lot of what the story is, but sometimes that's a good thing. You got the mystery. Doesn't give anything away.
I see that coming, I think, like December 29th.
Yeah, not too long.
Yeah. Next up, Morbius. I'm having real trouble, like, working up any enthusiasm.
It's just a weird. I was never a Morbius guy back in my heavy comic book reading days, and just seeing I never liked pre-established characters popping up in comic books like Frankensteins and vampires. It just didn't fit, and it just feels out of place just looking at this trailer. But people seem to be liking this. Messages I've gotten for people saying this actually looks right. It's like maybe it's kind of hitting the spot for a lot of people.
Is he actually supposed to be a hero, or is he another one of these like anti-heroes?
Like an anti-hero.
So he's supposed to be. So he's the bad guy generally.
Yeah, can you not be when you're a vampire? You want to fucking
Well, Angel was a good guy.
Yeah, for a what? Not it didn't start that way, did he?
Yeah, I'm not feeling it watching this. I'm kind of thinking this is like you wait till it comes on like Netflix or something. Type.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to see it, but it don't look bad. Yeah. But actually, it looks It looks in the vein of Venom. It looks just in that.
Yeah.
It could be fine.
But now that the fact that you see the Spider-Man poster or whatever it is in the background, does this kind of mean that this movie is like a offshoot of like the MCU? Because the stuff that's happened in the MCU has happened in this universe, right? Unless it's a alternate Spider-Man.
Well, that's kind of what Sony want to have the cake and eat, innit? They want all their little characters that they control to play with in the world of the bigger, because it helps them sell those characters. So because you ain't seen Let There Be Carnage yet, have you?
No.
So should I spoil
it?
I'm gonna spoil the post-credit, dudes. You probably all seen it by now. But yeah, Venom's I think in a hotel room, if I remember right. And on the news, Spider-Man. Actually, I think there's a glitch. Something glitchy happens. I'm vague. I remember I got the fuck out of there quick. I think there was a glitch, and then suddenly, Tom Holland was on the screen, and it was like Venom was looking at it like, "Oh, he looks yummy or tasty" or some shit like that. So they've connected it all. So it's it could be the Doctor Strange thing though. That event could be what makes all these characters connect.
On the news, is it like the revelation that Peter Parker is Spider-Man? Is that what they're showing, or is that something else? I believe
so. Yeah, I believe that is it. With Jay Jonas doing the talking.
Right. Okay. Oh, okay. So they're doing quite the crossover there, right? Okay. I know that was a Spider-Man film, but that Spider-Man film is very entrenched in the MCU, and obviously this trailer here has also got Michael Keaton in it, who was obviously the villain in the first Spider-Man.
Yeah. So they're bringing it all. They're trying to. So who knows?
Yeah.
They could surprise us and be better than expected.
Yeah. But next up, even less enthusiasm. Blade Runner.
I'm into this.
Blade Runner.
I'm into this. I'm always looking for an excuse to jump back into the Blade Runner world. And it looks a bit clean. Because Blade Runner universe originally supposed to be really dirty and gritty, but I'm all for it, man. Give me replicants.
What about this appeals to you?
See, I just love the style of it. I love that cyberpunk aesthetic. And I don't talk about the game cyberpunk, I talk about the original genre of cyberpunk. And I love Blade Runner, so give me it.
It's interesting because obviously Crunchyroll is now, obviously when this was made, it wasn't the case, but is now owned by Sony. So I wonder if they've got like big ambitions now that they've got that Sony money behind them. But it kind of seems like a bit of a weird thing to base an original anime on.
Yeah, I wonder if this took longer than they expected. Maybe it got affected by 2020, but you would have thought they would have dropped this closer to when 2049 came out.
I think this only got announced around that time, right?
Oh, really?
Damn. Yeah,
that time is all off then, because you want to really connect to something else that can.
Yeah, I guess it depends on where the animation is done, because if you have it done in Japan, it's like, unless you've got it booked in with the studio, it can take years to find a slot. Like if you tend to find with anime, like if they have a hit show, unless they reorganize the schedules, you could be like 1 or 2 years away from the second season because they've got so many things in the works already.
Yeah, if you put together your own little mini studio. But yeah, that's why you go to like South Korea and China even now, and India. Again, all these other little countries to do all this shit now.
But then, are they anime shows then at that point? I mean, I know the Japanese do that. I know they offshoot it into like China and Korea and those sorts of places.
I believe it's only truly anime when it's created and written by Japanese creators.
That's
when it's in the West, then it's just regular animation.
No, but there is the anime style, right?
It don't matter. Like Last Airbender, as much as I love that show, it's not anime.
The word I'm looking for is you're elitist.
I'll take it. Another show that definitely ain't anime.
It's not a compliment.
Another show that definitely ain't anime. Master of the Universe.
HeMan is back.
2.
See, now this is a proper bait and switch, right? I'm going to spoil the original. They killed HeMan in the first episode. They killed HeMan in the last episode. And then you watch this trailer and HeMan is fucking back again.
Yeah, even Smith should know that you can't just keep on killing your heroes and bringing back and expect people to still be invested.
No, see, that was just me like having a dig because people were like up in arms, like HeMan is dead. It's like, the show is like they're turning it into a woman's show type thing. Although now I've seen stuff like people going, they've turned He-Man into a brute to represent like the toxicity of like
toxic masculinity.
Yeah,
I never thought of that. Savage He-Man, that character's cool. Where he goes crazy apeshit with the power of attorney and goes like super roided out.
I mean,
looks more action packed, but it is a trailer, so you know the first trailer for the original show looked good, and that kind of was what it was.
Oh, I mean, I really enjoyed that first series. What I really like about this is they just do crazy stuff, right? He's doing stuff that you wouldn't really get. Like, I mean, in under hundreds of episodes of He-Man that there's been, like we've never had like Skeletor actually like win.
Getting the power, getting the swords together. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I do like that. You know, take a bit of risk, do something different.
I'm still gonna watch it.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna write it off. I'm gonna keep giving him his chance. Did you watch that thing I sent you? That little documentary on him.
What, the trailer?
Yeah,
I did watch the trailer. Yes.
And you excited to watch it?
Well, yeah. I mean, he's been talking about that for a while because I think him and the director are now taking that out on the road. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, you know, I'm a Kevin Smith fan. I'll want to see it. It's a weird thing to think like the man is still so young that he gets to have like a biography or whatever of him. But then like the man, I guess you know, he's had a heart attack. He feels like he's on borrowed time and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It could be cool. I'm interested to check it out. And I'm even interested to go back to I know I keep saying this, but I will revisit more Rats and Clerks and all of that shit one day.
His latest podcast had some very I can't remember if his latest or the one before. He had some very interesting stuff about music rights, and he was saying like because obviously he's trying to do the soundtrack to Clerks 3 now. He's like, the songs you would think are expensive are not, and the ones you would think are not expensive are like astronomical.
It's crazy. That's like this new. I hear that a lot of companies now are investing in music. They're buying people's catalogs. Like I know Tina Turner just put her catalog up for like whatever tens of millions, like not so long ago. For every like, why would you do that? For all your life, you worked for this. Why would you just sell it off like that? And you got kids.
I guess they're probably getting to the age where they're thinking like, if I could just get a big lump sum now.
And then you just think they must have been dumbasses if they're broke at this point in their lives. Jeez.
But if you imagine, I mean, the Beatles sold their back catalogue back in the 80s, right? And Michael Jackson bought it.
That is just crazy to me. That is mad. But I guess back then you didn't really understand the contract deals and all that. So maybe
they all didn't. I know what the really weird thing about that is Paul McCartney told Michael Jackson that he invests in buying up people's like back catalogs.
Oh God!
So he gave Jackson the idea, and then they had a massive falling out because obviously Paul McCartney wanted to buy the back catalog, and Michael Jackson, being Michael Jackson, just outbid him.
Oh my days! That's just cold. That is cold. I know a lot of people always defend it. Jackson fans always defend that, but to take something like that from someone else, that's their last works.
Just business.
Cold-blooded. Moonfall. Right, I don't think I actually bothered to watch this one, actually.
I thought you were the one who was looking so forward to like a disaster film. Against my better judgment, and I know this is always the same way because his trailers always look quite pretty and engaging. And you like
Roman Emmerich, isn't it? Roland Emmerich, yeah.
They do just enough to like fool you into thinking, maybe this time the film won't be so bad, right?
Come
and
on.
You want to watch it.
These films are guilty pleasures, man. You just gotta just sit back and have fun and switch your brain off.
Yeah,
and just
Stargate, brilliant, love it. Independence Day, love it. Everything that came afterwards, not so much. Except what's it? The Patriot. I think that was him as well, wasn't it?
Can't remember.
With Mel Gibson. Was that him?
Was that him? Doesn't seem like a Roman Emmerich type movie, but you know, it could be. I was looking up now.
Well, I mean, he does have like.
So Day After Tomorrow, you couldn't have fun with that. 2012 was it one?
Yeah, The Patriot, Roland Emmerich. The Day After Tomorrow was just kind of like interesting concept, but again, it was just like, oh, by the end of the film, it's all over and it's done with.
You want to see people die in creative, crazy ways? Give it to me.
Exactly. But then again, like I said, Moonfall does just enough to make you think, I want to watch this now. They do, if you watch the trailer, they do give you stuff about what's happening on the moon. There is something happening on the moon. It's not just that he decides one day, that's it. Gravity just isn't enough to keep me up here anymore. I'm going to crash into the earth.
Okay.
There is that whole story about, how we went to the moon and lost contact for like 2 minutes. That's a lie.
Oh, ooh, mysteries. I like that. That. When's this? Is this year or next year?
I'm assuming this is next year.
Damn it! Don't make me wait.
Yeah, there's no date at the end of the trailer. February 4th, 2022. Sorry, there is a date.
So, a movie I completely forgot was even in the works coming out. Lightyear, the Buzz Lightyear origin story, I guess.
So this is the story of why there is a toy of like Buzz Lightyear, right? Because you're obviously going to base
story
the toy
of the character,
yeah.
And did it convince you? Chris Evans playing Buzz Lightyear. You liking that switch?
So this is it. The music is very atmospheric. The trailer itself looks very nice and pretty. You don't really get an idea of what the film is going to be about, right? And what you don't get is obviously Tim Allen brought a certain energy to that character that we know and love for like 4 films. What is Chris Evans' take going to be on this?
To find out. It didn't sound bad in the trailer, though, if I'm honest.
Yeah, but is he going to be more of a straight-laced character? Or are they going to? I mean, like you remember, like Buzz was always, to infinity and beyond.
Yeah. I'm presuming this is kind of like early Buzz, like he's slightly younger. This is him just joining whatever the fleet is that they go out in space with. And I wonder if they're going to have the return of those aliens as well, the ones with the 3 things on it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember.
Whether they're going to be stylized and changed to be like crazy enemies in the film. Yeah. It could be fun.
Oh, yeah, interesting. Nonetheless, I'm sure it'll do very well with the younger audience.
The Witcher season 2, got a new trailer for that,
and looks pretty good. I am struggling to remember. Like, I think it's been 2 years. Well, by the time this comes back, it'll have been 2 years since the original, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't last December, was it? It was December before.
Yeah, it was 2019. Yeah, shit.
Yeah, and I am struggling to remember. Like, I remember there just being a big battle or something at some castle.
Even I'm forgetting now. I think he split up with the hot girl, and he met up with the young one who he was searching, or she was searching for him.
And the young one don't look so young anymore.
Yeah, growth spurt in that. Well, it's been bloody 2 years. What do you expect?
So, is it a growth spurt, or I'm assuming there's going to be like a time jump type thing?
There were always a lot of time jumps, but if I remember from the original story, it wasn't supposed to be like she was still supposed to be really young when he was training her. So I don't know,
which is why you get an older chick who just looks young.
Who's a midget. Let's get midgets. Hire midgets for everything.
I don't think they like to be called that.
Little people. Yes. My apologies.
Just like women don't like to be called chicks.
Birds. That's what you. There you go. Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, people seem to like it, so I'm not going to shit on it. If you like it, go for it.
We're at odds here because I thought the trailer looked interesting enough for me to watch it. I also like some of the comedy in there as well, which really appealed to me. Like the whole gag about like, just let me kill her just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just hooked up on superficial things, man. It's just the effects look nice, but whenever there's actual footage, it just looks bad to me. And some of the casting issues, but yeah, it's just that. But I've also been watching some of the original anime again, and even though it still bugs me that there isn't like a bigger, stronger narrative between the whole thing. You get that the style works. It works a lot better because they keep the music for the film. You can hear it there. They're still trying to replicate that, but it's a lot more natural with the anime. It's just a lot more textured and just sexy. That's it, sexy the way it is. Got that noir. I don't think it's the director. I don't think the director can really do that noir style.
I don't know. I would imagine a lot of these like anime things are very difficult to replicate. In the real world.
Yeah,
they may look cool when they're drawn on screen, But suddenly, when you put like somebody like a blue tuxedo or whatever it is that he's wearing, it can look pretty odd.
Has there ever been a good anime adaptation?
I mean, if you look at like the Japanese like live action ones, right? They very rarely look.
The sort of what's his face? I can't remember what it's called now. The ones I keep trying to get you to watch. The one with that samurai guy that doesn't want to kill.
Yeah, I know the one. Yeah, I did watch the first couple. I think
the first one. I think you gave a go and you gave up on after that. Yeah, they were good. Yeah, I still will give it a go. I'm not gonna write it off. Everyone else loves it, so I shall stick with it. Wheel of Time.
Finally. This was, I think, a better trailer than the first one. The first trailer, I think, was just look at what we've got. We've got kind of something. But I do feel by looking at it, it's missing that something. And as I was watching this trailer, instead of being invested in a trailer, I suddenly started thinking, what was it? What was that je ne sais quoi that made everyone gravitate towards Game of Thrones?
It has high budget look.
Yeah, but do people who don't like fantasy look at something and go, oh, that's got a big budget, I'll watch that? I don't think that's the case.
It looks like a movie. You want to stick with it? But yeah, I get what you're saying. If
if you don't like fantasy, you're not going to want to watch like a 10-hour movie.
I get what you're saying though. There is something that
there's
I don't know what it is.
Something happened in the zeitgeist that made people who wouldn't normally. There's people I've spoken to, like, you know, like their stuff is like watching Friends and the Kardashians, like that's their stuff, and you're like, oh yeah, I watched like Game of Thrones, and I think for some people it's more because it was word of mouth.
Yeah, word of mouth,
but
weekly.
Still, yeah.
This makes me a little worried for the Lord of the Rings show. Like, I don't know if it's an Amazon thing where they want people to work a particular way, but I hope it's not indicative of what that's going to end up looking like.
The thing is, we've not heard anything about the amount of money that's been spent on this, but the thing that they have really talked about constantly is the amount of money they've spent.
Well, I did read somewhere that they kind of set up a whole studio for Wheel of Time, so they definitely spent a pretty penny on this.
And this is coming soon. It's like 2 weeks from now.
Yeah. November
19th.
I just hope it's good. I hope it's worth sticking with. We're not just going to do a Why the Last Man and give up after 3 episodes. Come on now. I need good fantasy shows. So, come on, what's your trailer of the week?
You know what? I'm going to say my trailer of the week was The House of Gucci.
You're right.
You know,
when you're right, you're right.
You watch that and it does the job that it's supposed to. It sells you to want to watch the film. Like if I had come, and in fact, when we discussed this like a couple of years ago when it was announced, we're like, who wants to go to the cinema to watch a movie about like the murder of Gucci?
Yeah, but really looks like, hopefully, how the hell, man, when did he shoot these films? He literally must have started this right as he finished The Last Duel.
This would have been on the weekends. Like during the week, he's probably shooting like Last Duel, right? And the weekends, he was probably doing this. And then in the evenings, he's probably writing the script to like Kitbag.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. And I just can't believe I'm praising like Lady Gaga as much as I am, but she does look amazing in this. And I've even heard like people praising the accents, especially her Italian accent, because apparently Italian accents tend to be bad. And hers is very authentic, which she is Italian, I believe. So makes sense. Just imitate her grandma or something.
Yeah, looking forward to that one.
All right, so we ain't got much news this week, so
let's power through this. Ice Cube had no idea the man was still acting. I haven't seen like a film of his in ages. Although I really wanted to watch. I'm going to say Ice Cube now, but it probably wasn't Ice Cube, was it? Who was in Friday?
Ice Cube.
It was Ice Cube, right? Yeah. Has dropped out of Jack Black's comedy Oh Well after declining to get a vaccination.
No. Oh hell no, it's cool.
Oh hell no, sorry. After declining to get the vaccination, which is really odd because I was reading the story and apparently he was quite one of these guys who was like pushing wearing a mask and like taking responsibility.
Apparently he's done things where he's handed out masks to people, and all that. But I guess he's not into the vaccine, which a lot of people been taking that stance. It's very much dividing modern
seems to be the second film that he seems to have walked off of, has parted ways with in recent months.
What was the other one?
So there was another film in April 2020 during the first lockdown. Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Oh, no,
hold on, no, sorry, no, hold on. I think that's him. That's him pushing those T-shirts and stuff to like wear a mask. Notably, this second project Ice Cube has left in recent months. He was also had to have co-starred in Universal's boxing movie Flint Strong, Rachel Morrison.
Oh, possibly it could be the same thing. They haven't revealed what that reason is, but
unknown circumstances.
Yeah. I think this all affects a bunch of films now. Like certain, I guess it's really exposed who's into all of this and who's against.
It's if you obviously during COVID, if you listen to like Kevin Smith, because he was obviously filming Clerks, he goes like it's adding money to the budget of a film. He goes like, and he goes, I'm a small production. There's some testing. There's the facilities that you need. There's a whole bunch of other things that you have to like put into account that you didn't before. And he goes like, if you're a small indie film, the burden of like the COVID stuff would probably be enough to like make your film not financially feasible. But I'd imagine now, once the restrictions and all that stuff is lifted, there's probably a clause in like the insurance for the film, right? That everyone has to be vaccinated. Because you don't want an actor to get sick on set and get really sick and then sue like, well, you didn't make me take it. Yeah, exactly. And America, you know what? I
was exposed to this. You said it would be fine and it wasn't.
You know what? America's a place where you can sue McDonald's for serving you coffee that's too hot.
Yeah, man. That's the world now. Ain't just America, but yeah. But even we're like 50-50 on this show. I'm not an anti-vaxxer by any means, but I haven't had it yet. Mo has had it.
Well, I mean, we're just waiting for Eddie to get really sick so we can laugh and point at him.
I'm just the canary in the coal mine, seeing how far I can go. Yeah, man. So I'm not. Is this going to be a problem that's going to keep rearing its ugly head in Hollywood in the coming year or so? How long is this going? This is never going to go away, is it? I think that's pretty much what people are thinking. We're just going to have to live with this now forever.
Well, we're just going to have to wait until like basically all the people who don't want to get vaxxed die. That's when the problem will go away. But
they won't know. That's the thing. A lot of them.
It'll be a long.
I'm still here.
It'll be a long slog, Eddie. Yeah, but at the moment you're not really returned to normal life yet, though, are you?
I'm on public transport every day. I'm in with the filthy masses every single day.
I'm in the office every day now.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Chris Pratt said the voice. This guy Garfield. Mario ain't enough. Mario ain't enough. He's also going to be doing the voice of Garfield in the new movie. Why are they bringing that back?
So he's going to be Star-Lord in Mario. He's going to be Star-Lord in Garfield. Because Chris Pratt is Chris Pratt. Like, when have you ever watched a Chris Pratt movie and he's not been Chris Pratt?
Never. That's just him.
He's one of those sorts of actors. Like, you know, I've got nothing against him. I love watching him on screen. I still find it absolutely amazing that he went from Andy Dwyer on Parks and Recs.
Yeah, that chubby layabout.
You know what? I think that whole idea of him being chubby is all in our minds, because you look at him on Parks and Recs now and you're like, he's not actually that chubby. Maybe a little bit.
He wasn't like fat. He just had a bit of a beer belly. Yeah, that's it. But Garfield though, didn't they try this a few years ago and weren't those movies like dead on arrival for a reason? Or were they actually more successful than we realized?
I don't know. I guess Garfield just sells, right? There must be like some sort of generation that absolutely loves Garfield.
I swear most kids ain't got a clue what Garfield is. But they're always smart with these sort of animated, whether it's fully animated or half live action animated. They always put them out right where like the holidays are. And parents just take their kids because they ain't got nothing else to do, and that's how they kind of make their money.
Well, Bill Murray apparently was the
original, for the last film. Yeah. And he fits
maybe they are low budget films that are just capable of making a lot of money.
Low budget? I don't think so. Not the animation. But hey, what do I know? Who knows? What the hell? John Woo was returning to the US.
Oh, after so long. Like, obviously, he's been doing a whole bunch of like films in mainland China. He's coming back to direct a weird sounding film with Joel Kinnaman. The film's called Silent Night, and apparently the idea is that there's going to be no dialogue in this film.
Oh, fuck.
I cannot imagine like a studio like agreeing to that. Like they might be talking about it, but eventually they're going to be like, no, you've got to have some dialogue.
Who's making this?
Don't know if he's actually got a studio attached to it yet.
But then again, The Quiet Place is almost
But
very much
there is dialogue in the film.
Very little though, very little. You are sat just listening to sounds and creaks and screams for like the majority of that film. So it could be done. Could be done.
Well, they say it's aiming to have a movie without words or dialogue. I'd imagine they will fail at that because with The Quiet Place, I guess they've got like a very specific reason to be quiet.
It won't be a necessarily a quiet film. Might not have a lot of talking in it, but the story will see Kidman as a father who heads into the underworld to avenge his son's death. So there's going to be a lot of gunfire and screams and who are you? Is he deaf?
He's not fared very well, has he, in the US?
No, because he didn't stick to his stylistic values. He kind of changed it all when he went to Hollywood, and it just, even though he did try and do the two guns and the doves and the slow motion, it didn't translate the same to what he was doing in Hong Kong, man, during those classic years of hard.
Is that because he tried to do that? Is that because he tried to do that in Mission Impossible, where really he should have just been his own original IP?
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah,
Broken Arrow as well. There's a bunch of them, man. Literally all these Hollywood stuff. Payback, was that one? Or Paycheck? Yeah, they're just bad. Hollywood stuff. It's breaks my heart.
Trying one more. He's either trying one more time, or he's thought it's time to get the hell out of Dodge.
Yo, trying to stay there.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, mini news.
It's broke
officially
right
happening.
after we finished.
Last week. Yeah, doing is officially happening. It's not going to start shooting now until the end of 2022, apparently. So we're going to have a long wait.
The end of 2020. Oh,
this time next year.
Until what? Hold on, didn't they say they're ready to go in the spring?
Apparently not. Apparently that's what I read. It's not going to start shooting until the end.
That cannot be right.
So
because that's supposed to come out in 23.
Nah, it won't. It won't.
Oh. Will people care by then? I guess it doesn't matter because the second film will be out, right?
Yeah, yes, it's film.
Right. What will make it to screen first, Eddie? Will we see Dune 2 or will we see Avatar 2?
Oh. Well, at least Avatar 2 is filmed. It's done. It's in the can. 2 and 3 apparently are in the can. That don't really mean much though, because I haven't heard a lot for a long time. What's the official date on those? Is it next year?
I have no idea. It still boggles my mind that, like you're saying, that 2 and 3 are in the can and they're filming more. It's like surely somebody should be saying, all right, let's just see
2022.
how these. Oh, okay. So what?
Avatar 2 is scheduled for 2022, December, end of the year.
Oh, December. Sorry, 22. I suddenly thought, hold on, you're saying this year? No, you meant next year, though.
Yeah, it's 2021. Not the future yet. And number 3, 2 years after, 2024. So I guess they still got a lot of shit to figure out for that one. Effects wise, jeez. Sam Worthington must be just like, thank God, at least I've got this, because he just fell off the map. He was like the it boy for Hollywood for a minute.
Got nothing to do for the rest of my life now. I just live on that Avatar money.
How the fuck is Stephen Lang coming back? Didn't they die? He was a general.
It's been so long since I've seen that film. All I remember is the Blue Smurfs.
Maybe you should watch this again then. This should be your like.
Maybe we should.
I watched it
Disney
like
Plus, isn't it?
I watched it like a couple months ago, and I actually surprised how much I enjoyed it. And I was not an Avatar fan when I saw it in the cinemas. Give it a go, Mos. On your nice, big, squeaky, clean TV.
Think about it. I actually got 2 really good films through today, which I would like to watch this week. I got Carlito's Way on 4K, and I got Inglourious Bastards on 4K.
Okay. All right. That'll be worth it.
That'll be like 2 top films to watch.
That'll work. Glorious. I've actually wanted to revisit that. Actually, that's another thing I watched this week. I forgot to review. It's a documentary about Quentin Tarantino. It's been in my queue in Amazon forever. I decided to finally watch it. I think it was QT8. I think that's what it's called. And it just kind of has a bunch of the actors.
I know the one. Yeah. I've got that. Him. Any good?
Yeah, it's actually good because he has even though he's not in it, there's still a lot of Samuel Jackson, a bunch of other people all just chatting. Yep. Go through each film by film, and you just gotta love the dude, man. I love the movies, and I need to watch Death Proof again. I think that's the one I've seen the least.
Right, our final piece of news. I'm sure you guys will cover this in depth on your Marvel versus DC podcast.
Versus Marvel podcast.
But Bill Murray just shows how much of a gangster that he is. Like any other human being would be too afraid to reveal something like this, but he's just casually just dropped it in an interview that
care.
I've made a Marvel film.
Doesn't care. He just doesn't care. He's never really cared, to be honest. He's always been that guy that I think I heard one person talking about making a movie with him, and they weren't even sure that he would turn up on set most of the time. Like he was that sort of guy. Like you just had to. I think it might have been even with Ghostbusters that they didn't know when they first started shooting whether he was even going to turn up.
Is that because he wouldn't turn up, or is that because he was like?
He's just one of these personalities, isn't it, that you just can't predict. Like you just pray that they'll kind of go along with you, but they're just so wild and eclectic that they'll just be anyway.
Have you seen his quote that he said? He goes like, recently I made a Marvel movie, he says. I probably won't tell you, but never mind. In any case, some people were quite surprised why I decided to do such a project. But for me, the thing was quite clear. I got to know the director and really liked him very much. He was funny, humble, everything you want from a director. And with the cheerleader story, Bring It On, he made a movie of years ago, which I think was damn good. So it doesn't tell you what the film is, but it gives you enough there to work out.
Gives you all the clues, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be fun. Who could he play though?
I'm wondering. This is not me saying this. I heard it somewhere else, but whether he would be Scott's dad in Ant-Man 3.
That would be an yeah. That could be cool. That would be very cool. I guess we'll find out next year sometime. But a long time to wait. So, Mo, if they want to get in contact with us, how can they do so?
Folks, if you want to email us, we are at tatmpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to tweet at us, we are Talking Movies 3. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, we are Talking at the Movies.
Don't forget, guys, check out Vulture Network if you want to watch the video version of this, and also DC versus Marvel podcast, which I'm also part of, with us talking about all the comic book, movie, and TV news from the weeks and months and for whatever hell's going on. So, from me, Reese,
and me, Mo.
Catch you guys next week. Later.